Hello guys, Joe with BitRaged. So before we get into Bitcoin, the structures are looking really good, but before we get into it, I wanted to address a question that we got emailed to us, and that was, how does your strategy differ from what everybody else teaches? There are other people in this space that teach you structure and patterns, that teach you what different patterns are, especially bear flags and bull flags. It's pretty common to see that. So how does our strategy differ? The real difference is what we teach is not, okay, there's a pattern. A lot of people teach hindsight trading. That's not what we teach. We teach how to forecast, how to anticipate the market, how to anticipate what the market will do. You can go back and watch our video, our last video, where we were back in here and we're anticipating the potential that this moves up, gets a reaction here, sells, creates this kind of structure that just becomes the big continuation to the downside. We were anticipating that. We're starting to get it. So how do you go from, okay, that's a descending channel, to it can just move up, create a reaction here, and sell? That's the kind of clarity that we teach. That's what we focus on. So we don't just show you, okay, there's a pattern, have fun. We show you there's a pattern. What else can it develop into? What can this develop into based on the context, based on what the nature of price action is showing us, based on how the market does move? What can it develop into? That is our unique proposition, so you can be 10 steps ahead of the market. What we teach you is how you can anticipate what the market will do. When I was first learning how to trade, I was taught that you can't understand what the market is going to do, and I will tell you that is baloney. You can anticipate it, you can forecast it, you can see it for what it is, and then you can capitalize on it. That is what we teach. That is the unique proposition that we offer. So let's get into Bitcoin here. On the weekly chart, there's not much to see. It looks like we're going to get a close like this. If we do get that, that's perfectly fine. Doesn't really give you a lot of indication, but on the daily chart, it gets a little clearer. So if we look at it here, we were looking at this and saying, okay, that looks just like a continuation. We have the move down. This looks like a continuation. Now we're starting to get that reaction there at the high that we talked about. We jump down to the 4-hour, gets a lot clearer. This is very, very important. So you can see we come up to it, we reject here at the high, move down, and then move back up and through it, and then see the bigger rejection. That is very important to understand. Whenever you break a high like this, a lot of people write the trade off and say, okay, and we've broken the high, that's now support, we're going to move up from here. And many times what happens is all that does is get people caught on the wrong side of the market, get people caught in a long, and then the market goes short. Those people have to cover for those longs. So you jump down to the 1-hour, you can see this even clearer. You can see it kind of moved down a little bit, and if you took a short here, that's perfectly fine, and you would likely have a stop big enough to cover this anyways, but you could have got out of this trade, and I would have likely got out of it. I probably would have manually closed it. But the bigger move comes just after we break the high, which is important. Nobody teaches this. The only thing that people teach is, okay, we've broken the high, it's going up from here. When that, in reality, that's not the case. What the market is responding to is the pattern, is the structure, and not necessarily this. This is important, this high, in that we understand, okay, if we break through it and it just corrects, it doesn't get anywhere, there's no progression, then it's very possible this comes back to the downside. And so if we put in the structure that we have now, you can see the market is responding to this structure here, had a rejection there, another rejection there, and then it just sells. So what's going on right now? So if you look at it from here, we have the move down. This is starting to just give us that element of just a continuation bear flag to then sell. So what I would be aware of here is it could come down to here, it could just trickle its way down to here. It could reject here and move back up, and then get the bigger sell from here. The other thing that I am aware of that could happen is this could just kind of trickle its way up all the way to here. That would be the preferable scenario, in all honesty, because it would give us this kind of a structure. It would allow us to see this very, very clearly and then get in on it. So what would we look for there? And I'd just be looking for something like this. Anything like that would be perfect. Any kind of ascending like this, that'd be perfect. Anything like that here would be excellent. So I'd be taking that trade. but it can just give us literally a couple more hours here and then just drop. The only thing I would be aware of is about 6,200 here on the trend line. It's very possible that we get some sort of rejection here. It moves back up for a third touch before it then does sell. But you can see here that the structure that we have is looking very, very clear. So you can see here we have a strong move to the downside, heavy momentum. We get a flag, it sells, retraces, gives us a descending channel. It moves up, rejects here at the high, and now it's starting to move back down. Gives us this structure here. It's just a big continuation to move to the downside at this point. So that's what we're anticipating, that's what we're looking at, and this is a scenario that we were looking at before. So it's important to keep all these scenarios in your mind so that you do understand what is going on. So mathematically, there is enough hours in this pattern here. It's not the cleanest pattern, it's not the most picture perfect. But if this does just develop a little bit farther, gives you a clearer pattern like that, that'd be a perfect trade to the downside from here. So that is what we're looking at for Bitcoin. It's getting very, very clear. You know, that is really the power in understanding the market, understanding behavior, understanding structure. It's that when we're here, when we're back, you know, September 9th, and this is just developing, we can say, okay, this can just develop a descending channel. It can move up a bit, see a rejection here at the high, just break the high slightly, then move down, and then we just have this pattern here, and that's exactly what we did get. So that is the power. That is what we teach. I think there is a misconception that all we teach is, you know, a very simplistic view of the market. That is incorrect. Really, the bulk of what we teach in the course is how can you understand what the market is going to do in the future? Because I don't care what the market did in the past, unless it pertains to how I can understand the market in the future. Because to become a real world-class trader, you need to be able to anticipate what the market will do. And that comes with understanding the market. That comes in understanding the behavior of price action. So if you're interested in learning how to trade, you know, we have a course. Click the link in the description. We'd be happy to have you in the community. We have a Slack group as well, so you guys can interact with each other and learn and grow together. And I think that is a really powerful element. We have the community element as well. So that's Bitcoin. That's what we're looking at. Appreciate you guys watching, sticking with us. Take care now.